ball is so big.
What are you talking about?
It's true. One of the things I didn't understand about jokes between boys is like, do Western men think it's good to have big balls? 晚上好，欢迎来到下班后的喜剧派。Today we're going to talk about, how do I describe this? We're going to talk about the direct Chinese facsimile to spaghetti and meatballs, essentially. Just big pulpetta. We're going to do Chinese meatballs. Depending on where you're from, they're called different names. If you're from the Riverlands, you would call them 狮子头, a lion's head. If you're from where I'm from, and almost exclusively where I'm from, they're called 四喜喜喜喜丸子. Here's the thing about this dish. I grew up on it, as did a lot of Northerners, as did a lot of everyone. But I don't fucking like it. It's not good. Like, I keep on seeing these videos now all over the internet, especially in the West, where like, oh, traditional Chinese lion's head meatball. It's like a wet, sloppy, cunty, jizzy ball of pork in an equally jizzy sauce. But we're gonna make it anyways, just for posterity. While we were doing service, my colleagues and I got some insert shots. 四喜丸子 starts very simply with pork, and you season it with what we call 葱水. So, you take Chinese leeks, slice them into thick strips, hit it with a bit of salt, and just finger them aggressively until they go all cummy, until they go all jizzy. Then you wring them out, and you hit it with water, and essentially rinse them. At this point, you have a choice. You can either add toasted Sichuan peppercorns, or we call them huajiao, flour peppercorns. If you have a stand mixer, use a mixer, all right? Or you can make huajiao mian, which is just ground peppercorns. It really depends on you and how pungent you like it. I personally hate Sichuan peppercorns. The flavor is nice. What I hate is the people who swear by the flavor. 我要吃火锅，我不喜欢辣，我喜欢麻，就是那种舌头不舒服的那种麻辣感。The hot pot people. It's a huge problem here in the mainland. Anyways, no, sorry, I'm not going to move on. I have to talk more about this. Like, there's a whole group of people. The mala hot pot phase is kind of like what you guys went through with hot sauces, where there was a whole period of time where food didn't have to be good, it just had to hurt. Does that make sense? Like you know the white people on the chicken wing shit with the hot sauce, right? That show? None of those sauces are good.
Maybe a psychological reason.
They're bored or have daddy issues. What, spicing gives you euphoria and all that? Look, I get it. But your spicy food should still be good. You shouldn't actively ignore how good your food is just to chase getting your tongue's ass kicked. Anyways, where the fuck was I? No, before that. Anyways, so the entire idea is you're supposed to take your pork and then feed it gently with your leek and peppercorn water. Once again, finger it in there. Just molest it in there aggressively as you can. You hit it until the liquids are absorbed by the meat, taken up, and then you hit it with a slurry. This slurry is made of equal parts egg and corn flour, or shengfen. It's gonna come out looking like a double cream thick batter. You take that and you pour it into your mix and you hit it until it essentially is absorbed or emulsified, if you want to use a douchey word. At this point, you can stop. You have your meat mixture. The egg proteins and the cornstarch will create as much binding as is necessary. If you want a more bouncy, toothsome bite to your meatballs, then add more slurry. If you want it to be more falling apart and more wet meatloafy, I'm sorry, I wish there was a better way for me to describe this, add less slurry. It honestly doesn't matter. And if you want, add solid ingredients. I sliced up some ginger and threw it in there because I felt like I needed some. Of course, it's against tradition, but who cares? All right, let's take a look at our meats. Looks appropriately gross. That's exactly the amount of disgustitude I want. By the way, 四喜丸子 roughly translates into 4 happiness ball. There's no fucking better way of doing it. None of you are interested, but I'm gonna tell you anyways. 喜 is a general adjective for anything good. 福 would be a general adjective for anything good in your life involving prosperity and the gaining of things. 你长得很有福气, it can mean that you're fat. But it's a polite way of saying it because what it translates roughly into colloquially is, you look like you grew up with a lot of food in your house. Right? That's fair, right? 你长得很有福气. You're a fat fuck. Here's the thing about this fucking dish, right? Charlie, also another northerner from my hometown, and Lorenzo over there, we all feel similarly. It's tasty, sure, but it just doesn't fucking matter that much. Like, 四喜丸子, there's this weird tradition around it where there can only be 4 in your plate. More or less, and you've committed sacrilege. There can only be 4. Right? And in the South, they say 4 means death. 南方人嘛，4个，哇，好不吉利，我4个 ，right? 是不是老陈？
看情况吧。
看情况吗？
四喜没听过吗
Okay, fair. 真会别。Anyways, this is the texture I want. 那杨是这意思不？disgusting. 有那么丁点恶心。
It's totally different from the
Yeah, I know. But honestly, not really. Because what really is different? It's also wet pork. Here's another scene that we all grew up with on how to portion this, right? You do that, and then some fucking old shifu does this, right? 是不是? Because you're only supposed to have 4. The way to shape these is very simple. You're essentially making a quenelle in your hands. Don't try to be a caveman and make one of these. You'll have a patty, right? You're scraping it off your other hand with your dominant hand, and that's how you make that round shape.
So when do you know it's okay to put it in the oil?
You don't. You feel it out and pretend like it's all experience and 硬功夫, and you throw it in whenever the fuck you want. Chinese food is, in my opinion at least, one of the least stressful things to cook, but it's made stressful by the people who teach it. Because what would it mean for the generations of Chinese cooks that make it this specific way if their food by mistake tasted better than tradition, if they tried something new? The reason that so many Chinese cooks get beaten in their kitchens, slave away, aren't even afraid to look their shifu, their masters, in the eyes because they're afraid of saying no to a tradition that doesn't really apply to them or the world around them anymore.
And we also invent that, like, 教会徒弟饿死师傅, right?
If you 教会徒弟饿死师傅, it means if the disciple learns, the master starves. No, it's not us. See, this is what I mean by Chinese people. You're an educated, forward-thinking, open-minded Shanghainese woman, and you still think that we invented that saying?
I'm just saying.
Yeah, what you said is no, I know, but what you just said is that's why we invented that. 潜意识. You didn't even know what you just said there. It's built into our language to be arrogant and narrow-minded sometimes. And the same with English and a lot of other languages, I'm sure. I don't speak those, so I don't know. What? The ability to have an opinion? A lot of people who aren't us, like you're asking this because you know the truth. No one who lives here is not allowed to have an opinion. That's you guys.
Oh.
You guys get canceled all the time for having an opinion. We don't get canceled just because we have an opinion on something. The details are something for you to discuss down below. That's all I will say on the matter. See, I have to make 8, or I will not be allowed back in the province of Liaoning.
We actually have a lot of different kinds of meatballs from all the cultures.
I mean, think about it. Like an animal that you grind up and throw into a ball shape. That's pretty easy to coincidentally happen upon. In pretty much everywhere in potato Europe, there's a form of meatball. In this, pretty much every part of tomato Europe has a meatball. Africa, touching the Mediterranean, the northern part of it, also has a meatball. Greece has a meatball. Like it's just ground up shitty meat, flavored heavily, made edible. If you're a reasonable human being, you can just bake these and then eat them, but they're still raw on the inside. So now it's time for the favorite thing for Northerners to do, which is take something that we've taken all this time to crispen up and then uncrispen it in a sauce. 好无聊，就是花1天时间把它给炸脆，然后马上让它不脆。All right, 怎么调味儿？你走之前怎么调味儿？Lorenzo's almost off, so I'm just gonna get him to season this for me. 就是在油爆葱和姜，生抽、老抽、水，结束是吧？然后后边来个芡儿吗？
就是各种调味料了，这盐鸡精，
明白，就是常规操作，懂了。
对。
All right, fuck it, let's do it. So Chinese leeks, ginger, hot as fuck oil, smell of degrading oil, and unhealth. The smell of unhealth is the smell of good Chinese food. All right, that's about it. And then we just put water in the pan. There's something really funny about the way we season that I'm not sure you even noticed. In the West, everybody goes, season generously with salt and pepper, finish with butter, right? Foam, wait until the butter foams and baste it with thyme and rosemary and garlic. And they're so proud when they say these words. But in China, a lot of young cooks, especially home cooks, are ashamed that they use light soy sauce, dark soy sauce, and oyster sauce. 生抽老抽蚝油. They say, 我就是放点生抽老抽蚝油. They say that almost like they're 难为情. Embarrassed. There we go. Embarrassed to admit that they're basic. But we need to find a way to think about our seasonings the way the West does. It's right. I like them. I like brown things that are MSG laden. What's wrong with that? All right, time to go get my brown symphony. Yes, the brown symphony of flavor that is China. Some soy sauce, some dark soy for color, a little bit of chicken juice, some sugar just to round things out. All right, and that's pretty much it. We just let it braise for a few more hours, and then we're done. We slap a lid on it, then we let it braise for 2-3 hours until it reduces a bit. It doesn't. Don't worry about it. Just wait for it to cook through. It doesn't have to be an hour. It can be 45 minutes, just until it's as uncrispy as you want it to be. 哎，杨儿，你四喜丸子双煎口你会调什么味儿啊？我现在已经在煮了，你会放啥？
我没你那么复杂，我就是番茄酱给点盐完事了。
Fucking ketchup? Oh, you're such a savage. You're a fucking animal. 行，番茄酱有番茄酱嘛，有什么不好意思的？番茄酱。Later we can throw some ketchup in there and call it a day and make it sweet and sour pork. This is where sweet and sour pork came from, by the way. Two lazy northerners going, hey, how do we make this sweet and sour? Ketchup. Ketchup is already sweet and sour, already tastes good. Put a soy sauce inside, use water, mix thin, then make thick with cornstarch again. Done. All right, let's see how we're doing. Oh, that smells good. The only thing wrong is that there's 2 of them fucking missing. Because I have rats for colleagues. Rats whom I love very much. Thank God they were smart enough to leave me a multiple of 4. Or else, like I said, I would be evicted from my home province.
What you doing now?
Right now,
Yes.
thickening and finishing my sauce. Sorry, that's also something. Thickening the sauce. So you take some of your braising liquor, you put the spurs to it. That's about the salinity I like, actually. So now, I'm gonna take a little bit of cornstarch.
Water.
Yeah, make a cornstarch slurry. I remember, and I'll be honest, I was guilty of this too. When I was a younger cook, I felt bad using cornstarch and water. I wanted to make roux to thicken my sauce and use butter and flour like all the great French chefs. Then I realized that I don't like the flavor of butter that much, and also this is faster and easier. All right, so swirl your slurry in. That's the texture you want. So, get out my
Ball.
Yes. My 4 happy ball.
Your ball is so big.
What are you talking about?
It's true. See, here's the thing you don't know about boys. I don't know why. When I was learning the English language, one of the things I didn't understand about jokes between boys is like, do Western men think it's good to have big balls? Like, what are you gonna do with them? Where do you put them? In your skinny jeans. Anyways, 3. If I stopped here, I guarantee you if I stopped here, my comment section would be full of angry Liaoning people.
Why 3 happy balls?
Not happy enough. There we go. 杨儿，过来看看是不是这意思？
出了那么一内内的香菜。
这内内美呀，来个内内。你别说啊，杨儿，好像咱刚好只有那么一个内内了。来，2内，3内，来3内，4内。Like it makes me unreasonably happy, but it's so fucking stupid. Here's some fucking sugar and a little bit of acidity by way of fake lemon juice. Look at that. Look at this. This is not the texture of higher society. But God, is it fucking good. You're having a really great time, aren't you?
You actually can put some spaghetti.
Oh, some spaghetti underneath it? Yeah, of course. Chinese Italian spaghetti meatball. Guys, you really gotta stop. This is supposed to be a cultured and sophisticated commentary / cooking video about the dichotomy of true Chinese food. And shut up, I'm trying to sound educated right now. Look at that, one more. That looks gross good. Let's see if we did okay. Oh yeah, that's super tender. Holy shit. Wow. Wow. It's one of those things you pretend to hate because you think it's cool to pretend to hate it. But it's really hard to hate this. Ah. Want some? I know.
But you hate it.
I want to hate it. I just can't. I hate the fact that this is an argument. I hate that this is steeped in tradition. And that there's a right way or a wrong way to make it. There's nothing wrong with the food. It's the people around the food. God, does it fucking taste good. Fuck off. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe. I'm gonna finish this and go home. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you soon, okay?